Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your July Sun, Moon, and Stars reading for Aries Sun, Aries Rising, and Aries Moon. So now the first card that we're going to look at is the Sun. This is the outward appearance. It's the manifestation of the situation, how the world sees it, the action it causes. And you have the Nine of Pentacles. So right front and center out there in the world could be issues connected to real estate, property matters, any kind of investment like insurance, retirement fund, pensions. Those are things that you could be dealing with. For others of you, this may be having enough time and money to enjoy yourself, relaxing. And there's a strong emphasis on self-sufficiency, self-reliance, self-mastery, self-discipline. So for some of you, you may be very focused on some interest that you have. Maybe this is a hobby or some kind of pursuit that you're turning into self-employment. For others of you, there's a focus on expectations. The demand to be taken care of versus the freedom to roam, pursue your own interests, your own desires. So you may be conflicted, and that may play out in the form of a relationship where either you or someone else perhaps is playing the role of mistress. This could also be getting some kind of notice, some award, an honor of some sort, some kind of recognition for your talent, for your skills. And in fact, it could be an attraction that you have with someone that is unobtainable for whatever reason. Or vice versa. You may have a secret admirer, but there's the admiration perhaps of charm, skill, talent, attractiveness, the total package. Now, negatively, it could be some criticism. This is the card connected to Venus in Virgo. So there could be an issue that comes out into the open where there's an impossibly high standard to meet. The expectation is so high. There's some hypercritical behavior, some nitpicking. So, maybe you are interested in someone, but they never seem to meet your ideal. Or maybe there's an expectation from someone of you that you can't possibly meet. So there's a tendency to shut off, to be self-contained, because, you're working under the illusion of an ideal that's not possible. As a result of that, there may be some hostilities, could be some gossip, some rumors, some unfair accusations. And you may feel the need to respond to that, retaliate in some way. But this is a time where what you do is likely to come back to bite you. So you have to really choose carefully your words, your choice of associates. You have to think carefully about your decisions. It's also about your belief system and what is actually valid. Now, for some of you, maybe this is about some interest that you're pursuing and you're totally focused on it. You may be very focused on property, cultivating something, whether that's a talent, a skill, or even cultivating the land. You may be into gardening right now. But there's a very strong focus where you're thinking about possibilities based on what you have to offer or what someone else is bringing to the table. So again, you could be getting very creative. Maybe you want to relax. Maybe you want to have, again, that time and that money to enjoy yourself, to play. Maybe you want to get something started. But for some of you, there's just a lot of fantasy taking place. Now again, this could be that admiration of someone that is unobtainable for whatever reason. They may be with someone else. They may be someone you don't even know. And so there's a lot of inaction. Others of you, there's some issues related to perhaps real estate, property, investments, and there's nothing going on. So either there's a single-minded focus, or there's an issue where you can totally see through things, or there's just nothing going on. It's all in your head. Now, the moon represents the inward manifestation. It's how you feel inside, or how the situation is making you feel, the effect that it's having on you as a person. You have the Devil card, so you may feel burdened somehow. Maybe, you feel like you're meeting with a lot of delays or extra responsibilities or obligations, and these may be tied to authority figures, or it could be tied to your parental role or your role in connection to a parent. For some of you, there are some feelings that you're working on, perhaps that connect to an ex or the past. And there may be some fear or pessimism or cynicism that you're dealing with inside. You may be dealing with some kind of chronic habit, some kind of negative obsession or compulsion that keeps you tied to situations or people that are unhealthy. Now, for some of you, there may be a very strong sexual attraction, especially if there's an admirer or vice versa. But this is a fear either of being exploited or taken advantage of, and it causes you to either, close up and not offer what you can, or maybe you overcompensate and you agree to things that are beyond, your capabilities. So this is a negative energy. Now, maybe you're all business. Maybe you are very focused on business, taking care of business. And this may be a time where, you're very interested in your survival. So your survival skills are at play here. And you may be making decisions based on fear or based on the need to survive, or maybe even based on selfishness and greed. So for some of you, you're looking at unhealthy behaviors. For others of you, you're looking at how to wield your influence. And perhaps there's, right now, people will listen to you. They listen to what you say. So you have to be very careful that you're not tempted to use your power and influence in a negative way to skew a situation to your advantage. So this is about looking at those petty temptations, whatever they are, whether it's just to, relax a little bit too much or too much self-indulgence, not putting forth effort, or maybe even going too far as being a workaholic. So you're looking at finding that balance, and inside, again, you may feel burdened or challenged in some way. You may be dealing with fear and pessimism about a situation. Now, maybe you're dealing with obligations. Maybe you feel a sense of duty. You feel obligated, and it's not necessarily something you want to do, but something you're compelled to do. So for some of you, this is about new horizons. Maybe, again, you feel very business-oriented, very focused. You want to expand in some way. For others of you, you're having to look at some unhealthy habits. There's a wake-up call here where you need to, take in some kind of new perception, new awareness, make some changes, and think about where perhaps some boundaries have been pushed. Now, the Star card is how you can make this situation work for you. So you have the Justice card. So for some of you, you're making some decisions. Now, these may be legal decisions. They may tie to property or investments. For some of you, this could be, settling old debts. For others of you, this could be examining your conscience, especially with this Devil here, those bad habits. And maybe you're trying to restore order to a situation, whether that is finding the balance in your responsibilities, whether this leisure time versus being a workaholic, or, fear of helping others because you want to do your own thing, or greed connected to acquisition. So restoring order may mean health, taking better care of yourself, especially if you're dealing with some kind of addiction, whatever that may be. Could be sugar, could be rich foods, could be alcohol, gambling, sex, power, whatever it is. You need to right those scales. And it's about really checking your conscience to do what's right, what's fair, and acting with integrity. So that may be an issue, restoring the balance in your life where things have been skewed. And it may mean the intervention of a third party in order to make that decision. So for some of you, you may have some kind of obligation that is a legal contract. Maybe this is a connection to attorneys, legal administrators, judges, whatever it is. The issue is to do something that is responsible, that is fair. And it's about taking that stance that is objective, where you cast aside any kind of prejudice or bias or preconceived ideas about a situation, especially where you may have some fear or apprehension about something. So the way that you can make a situation work for you is acting with integrity, doing things above board, making good decisions, holding yourself responsible as well as others. And it may have to do with making some necessary changes. Maybe you're changing a decision, you're changing your responsibilities. It may mean that there's some kind of necessary transformation in the way you're thinking. It could be, taking care of business, putting an end to something, being accountable, facing the truth. In some cases, you may find that there are delays and you are waiting for a decision. So the best way to make this situation work for you is to use that time wisely, to put things in order, to make the best decisions that you can, to be fair to others. Now, this is motivated by this Page of Wands. For some of you, this is your energy. It's fire energy. Or it could be an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, could be a young person. This is about opening your heart. And we get back to this apprehension, this fear, this cynicism. This is about opening your heart to all beings, not operating through this lens of what you think or perceive based on some experiences that may not be valid. It's about offering something, and for some of you, this is going to be some kind of message that you're putting out there or that you are receiving. This is very motivational, very enthusiastic. So this is about promoting optimism. So for some of you, maybe you're doing something creative. Maybe you're working on something. Maybe you're inspiring others. You may be a teacher. Maybe you're a salesperson. Maybe you're a student or you're learning something. So for some of you, this is simply a new acquaintance. There's a change at hand that requires you make a decision and take some kind of immediate action based on some new circumstances. And for some of you, writing those scales simply means making some small changes. Changes, though, that are impactful. Changes that really make a big difference. That changes your current relationship or your social situation, your attitude, or your environment. So that could mean an obligation, perhaps, to take a short trip or attend something where other people are involved, a small gathering, where perhaps you end up being the center of attention. But for others of you, this change may be uncomfortable. It's a call to take some kind of action. Now, this is fortunate. Maybe it ties to your hopes and your dreams, and something happens where, the expectation exceeds what you originally thought would happen. So there could be an unexpected gift or opportunity if you recognize it. Otherwise, this is a need to take some kind of action. There's something going on in your relationship, some kind of shift. Could be small, and yet it has a significant bearing on the way you relate. And it's an uncomfortable or unsettling change, and you're at a loss to explain that. You don't know where something got off track, where there was that left turn, so to speak. So this is motivated by the need to take some kind of action, being optimistic about creating a more fortunate circumstance. Now, your advice card is self-love. And this is connected to the waxing crescent moon. So let's look up self-love. Radical self-love is necessary. Empowerment starts from the inside out. Do not compare yourself to others. Start your change with focus and love of self. Every day I bring radical self-love to body, mind, and spirit. Sometimes we feel we're not enough. Sometimes we're even told we're not enough by our own voice, the voices of others, and our culture. Not smart enough, not pretty enough, not powerful enough, not talented enough, not good enough. That's what we choose to do. Not ambitious enough, not experienced enough, not curvy enough, not thin enough, not glamorous enough, not porn star enough, not enough of a lady. And as a result, all of this makes us not love ourselves enough. Then there's the opposite, that we are too something, too tall, too short, too fat or too thin, too wrinkly, too pimply, too old, too young, too quiet or too mouthy, too noticeable, too opinionated, too much trouble, too much, full stop. Is it any wonder that many of us feel such self-loathing or dissatisfaction with the self? Please just stop. Put your blinkers on. Breathe. Be yourself. Do ritual. Speak to the goddess or whatever energy floats your boat and ask for help. Yes, indeed. Listen to any or all of the crazy misdemeanors that your mind may throw at you. But then hug these untruths like a crying puppy and soothe the reasons they are there. Know that you're doing the best you can do right now, that you're not your past, and you can soothe yourself, and most importantly, you can move on. Know that this comparison craziness is just a diversion from knowing yourself really well and discovering amazing, delicious aspects of yourself that are entirely satisfying. Focus on you, not others, and discover where you really might like change, if anywhere or anything, for your own personal benefit, not for some outward measure of enoughness. True power and happiness comes from the inside out, like an unfurling spiral. Woe is the person who relies on the opinions of others to gain happiness and self-measure. Choose radical self-love. Choose you. Wow, Aries, that is a powerful message. So again, this is about making those decisions about where you've been restricted, what kind of habits, what kind of compulsions or obsessions or fears or negative thinking is keeping you trapped and bound to perhaps the decisions of others, wanting to appear like the total package, or that ultra criticism of an ideal that's impossible to reach. All right, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notify bell button, and leave me some comments.